What's up, people? I am back for another video. Sorry, I just need to push the way. I'm reviewing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 or Part 2. This came out in 1986. This was a sequel. In my opinion, I really like this one. This is one of the other really good ones. It's an interesting follow-up because it does go more of a comedic direction, like a dark comedy kind of direction, especially towards the end with some of the family members. But I really, really do like this one. I like the opening. You got these two dudes, Rick and his friend, I don't know. It'll probably come back to me. But they were like driving onto way to a football game and they're listening to this DJ Stretch and call in. And they're like your typical asshole guys, and then Leatherface kills them on the road, which I kind of like. I thought it was a cool opening. And yeah, it goes more of a comedic direction. One thing I didn't remember Dennis Hopper was in this movie. He plays Lefty, Lieutenant Bode, who he is the uncle of Sally and her brother, who I thought was a really good character. And in fact, in this, he's pretty good. Granted, it's hilarious how, though, in the end, he does kind of just go crazy. But with the big-ass chainsaw, which was great. But it was an overall awesome film. It was cool having him in the movie. He brought a cool edge to the movie. Drayton's, the Sawyers were always great. Chop Top was a great addition. He was just Batshit. And I really liked the carnival setting. Like, it was an interesting follow-up. What a sequel should always do is be either an extreme version of the first movie where they scale it up. And I think this did that a little bit. Or you just go, like, a different tone. And that's what this one did. This one went more of a comedic tone. But I don't think it was over the top comedic. I still feel like it was relatively serious. It was very much a comedy somewhat, but it's not over the top. Like, I still would say it's a horror movie largely. And I thought Leatherface was great in it. I liked the third act. Just, my God, it just goes batshit. The batshit level is crazy, and then the blood and gore is crazy. So it's a decent sequel. Yeah, it's not as serious as, like, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is, but I think this is a worthy follow-up, and I would definitely recommend it. So, probably out of 10, like, the first one I gave a 9, I'd probably give this one, like, an 8. I thought Stretch was an interesting character. They did she's, like, this DJ chick, and, she's in, he's basically starting to work with Bode on, because Bode is the only one who he's like, I'm not going to say Dr. Loomis, but he's the only one who thinks there's something up with this murder family, because no one else in Texas believes it. They think it's just like car accidents, and the police are just scoffing at it. No, this is just a car accident. They're almost like covering it up. So he wants to use her to basically get the story out. So, and I think they work well together. And then the third act is a fun movie. Just so overall, recommend it. Tomorrow I will be doing Ginger Snaps 3. I'll definitely try to get that one out tomorrow. Make up for not doing it last Friday, but it will definitely be tomorrow. I'll probably even try to do it early tomorrow. So, but besides that, I will get started here. So this movie opens up. We got these two. I think one of them's name is Rick, and the other's name is like either Derek or I'm just gonna say Derek. They're driving on way to a football game, and they pull up next to this pickup. Nothing seems up initially, and then they call in the show. Owned by DJ Vanita Reynolds, I think is her real name, but throughout the film she just is called Stretch. And they're like harassing her, being like a bit of assholes, and then They get murdered basically on, well, Leatherface kills Derek, like kind of like slices his head pretty brutally, I will say. Like his head just gets like straight up chopped off. Like it was like, I really think they did a good job with like, as always, like with these with 80s horror, in my opinion, they did like they went all out with the blood, and it looked real. Then Rick gets killed in the crash, and then this is where we meet Lieutenant Bode, who. Oh, before that, I do like that they do keep up the theme of like last time, where you have the narration in the opening, talk recanting like the events from the last film, and then we go into this one. I like that. I like that. This one though, I do kind of miss the somewhat snuff film shot the way from the last one. This one is very much just like kind of shot like a traditional film. I do prefer the like more almost not necessarily snuff though, but like almost not cam, but like it had this grittiness about it, about the first one. So I do kind of miss that a little bit, but it's fine. It's still a great movie. So we meet Lieutenant Bode. He's the uncle of Sally, and I thought he's a really fun character in this because he's the only one who thinks there's something going on with these chainsaw murders. But he brings it up to like an officer, and the officer like scoffs at it and thinks it's just like, he plays it like it's just a car crash, like, and that's it. So Bode meets with Stretch, and initially she offers to help and even has the tape with the murder, but he initially turns her down. I really like the scene where he goes to, because this is where he mentions the chainsaw murders, but he initially, like, turns her down. But the scene where he goes to, like, the chainsaw shop was pretty funny. He just goes there and it's, like, just testing him, the chainsaws out. While this happens, she goes to, the chili cook-off, and Drayton Sawyer, he's the patriarch of the Sawyer family, like the main kind of figurehead. And I actually thought he did a really good job. Like, Sawyers in general, to me, always put on a great performance in these movies with how batshit they are. Like, that is the one thing you can give them. You know that they're going to be just batshit all the time. And I even like the little nods, like he makes it obvious he's basically a cannibal. Because he's like, I have an eye for good meat. Because the chili's made out of people. I'll just spoil that part. So then, Stretch and her partner LD, I think is his name, go to the Sawyer house, because Drayton goes back after, and this is where we meet Chop Top, he is just fucking batshit. That is the one thing you can't deny about, fucking Chop. He's probably like the craziest one, even crazier than Leatherface in my opinion. Like, but before that, before that, I don't know why I just went blank. Fucking Stretch. Sorry, I don't know why I just went blank there. Stretch and Lefty meet, and this is where he asks her to help him with the investigation, and basically tell him, you're the only one who can get people to believe me, to her. She agrees, and this is where they go to the house, and her partner gets killed by Leatherface. They beat him with the hammer. The kills are brutal, even though there's not a lot of them. Not like last time, because, it's mainly... and I do like that Tobe Hooper still directed it, so it's kind of cool that this director is like, I'm going to change it up a bit for this one and go for more of a different tone. We get a chase scene between her and Chop Top. She ends up getting captured. Initially, Leatherface makes it seem like he kills her because he like starts kind of like almost having like an affection for her. Even puts on the scene where he puts the fucking mask on her face is just fucked. And then even the scene where you actually see him cut. Well, you don't see him cut it, but you see him pull off like the actual face. Oh my god, man! I will admit they really went all out with the fucking blood effects and shit. So Lefty's been following him the whole time, and he is following him in this carnival, abandoned carnival, which I really like the aesthetic. Abandoned carnival is like a lot of corpses. It's almost like a bigger version of the house from the first film. So, and then Drayton realizes that she's still alive because she escapes, but they capture her. And then this is where we kind of get a scene almost similar to the first one. It's not a dinner scene, but she's like tied up. And then they want to have Grandpa kill her. And even have like Leatherface somewhat dressed like the first one. But then Lefty manages to catch up. And this is where we get the chainsaw fight between Leatherface and Lefty. While Chop Top tries to kill Stretch. And Drayton kind of realizes everything, like he's fucked. So he ends up killing himself and the family. Like he like blows himself, like I think a stick of dynamite, or pretty sure it's something like an some kind of explosive, and causing for Leatherface to Leatherface and everyone to die, while Chop Top chases I was gonna say Sally, Stretch, in this tower, and then Chop Top has her confronted before she pulls off, like, because it's like a dead body holding the chainsaw. She pulls off the chainsaw, slices off Chop Top, and he falls off and dies, and Stretch raises the chainsaw in celebration, and film ends. I really like this one. I like that they changed up the tone, but like they didn't go overly the other way though, where it's just a joke. Or they're like, well, the scene where Lefty's down in the looking for Stretch, and he finds like the chili, but it's like body part. Like they really did do a good job with like the blood effects and the body effects and and the set design. Like it's not like, I don't feel like they went, like, I'm going back to my point of like, it's not too comedic, there's still horror moments in there. It's just those comedy moments work, and the performances from the Sawyers were just great. How batshit they are. I think that was a great thing that they carried over from the first one, was how batshit they are. So heavily recommend this one if you've not seen it. I think it's a solid follow-up, and they do definitely, I think Lefty, Dennis Hopper, does a really good job, especially towards the end. He just goes fucking batshit, slicing shit down. It's fucking great. Dennis Hopper's great. And it's interesting to see him play like a good guy, because he normally plays like a villain in most things. Speed, he's in 24, he's a villain in that. So it's interesting to see him as a good guy. So all around great movie. 8 out of 10. Stretch is an okay character. She's not like, I do like they want to give her a little bit of a character. Not saying Sally didn't have a character, but Sally, her and her brother were just looking for their grandfather's remains. And that's fine. Like I mentioned, the characterization is not as the biggest, greatest thing about the first, Texas Chainsaw. So I do like they try to give her a little bit of a character, but it's fine. She's a decent character, so all around awesome movie. Heavily recommend it. Tomorrow, like I mentioned, Ginger Snaps 3. I'll definitely try to get that out during the day. Or at least it'll be for sure tomorrow. But besides that, I'm gonna peace out here. and talk to y'all tomorrow. But fuck Joe Biden, fuck Kamala Harris. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.